Planet of the Apes is a 1963 novel by the French writer Pierre Boulle. Boulle was born in Avignon in 1912. During World War II, he worked for the French resistance in Malaya before being captured by the enemy and imprisoned for 2 years, all of which inspired his 1952 novel, The Bridge on the River Kwai. In later life, France recognized his wartime heroism, making him a chevalier of the Légion d'honneur and awarding him the Croix de Guerre. He died in Paris in 1994 at the age of 81. This review contains spoilers. Planet of the Apes is one of those novels where people sometimes express surprise to discover that it was ever anything other than a film. Breakfast at Tiffany's might be another example. Even if you've never seen the 1968 movie, you'll know its iconic ending in which Charlton Heston's character Taylor falls to his knees before a half-sunken Statue of Liberty to damn humanity to hell. The film is a recognised classic. How does the book compare? Let's start with the film. 3 astronauts crash land on what's later revealed to be Earth in the distant future. Einstein's theory of relativity provides the science for that. Apes are now the planet's dominant species and are divided into 3 species/classes. Gorillas are the soldiers and heavy lifters, chimpanzees are the intellectuals, and orangutans are religious aristocrats. Humans have reverted to pre-literate hunter-gathering and lost the power of speech. The astronauts are separated and effectively only Taylor survives. The fact that he can speak intelligently threatens the orangutan's sacred conviction of ape superiority. He's given a show trial and condemned. With the help of 2 idealistic chimpanzees, however, he escapes and eventually ends up free, but confronted by the Statue of Liberty. The end. The film is very American and in some ways quite 1960s countercultural. Taylor is an irascible cynic, a rebel without a cause. The trial he undergoes resembles the Army McCarthy hearings of the 1950s. The reason humans ceded dominance in this version was because they were too warlike and violent for their own good. And of course, the whole thing takes place in a future America. The film preserved much of the book's narrative architecture, but Ulysses Maru, the Taylor precursor, is a journalist, an intellectual, and a relative optimist. The planet on which he and his fellow astronauts find themselves is not Earth, but a planet orbiting Betelgeuse to which they've quite deliberately travelled. There's a language barrier between Maru and the apes, which Maru solves using mathematics. And there's no show trial. Instead, Maru reveals his linguistic capabilities at a scientific conference. And afterwards, the apes treat him, with reservations, as something of a celebrity. The book is well written and thoughtful and would be well regarded today, even if it had never attracted Hollywood's attention. It has a wider focus than any of the films. The movie franchise is almost exclusively concerned with the question of how apes supplanted humans, and how the relation between the two might pan out. By contrast, the book is at least as concerned with the internal structure of ape society, the sociological interplay of gorillas, chimpanzees, and orangutans. At the time Meru arrives, we get the sense that the long-standing power of the orangutans is beginning to wane, that the chimpanzees are in the ascendant. It's complicated, however, because the gorillas have a practical bent that the chimpanzees lack. The latter may be unable to hold on to power. The other difference is that in the book, humans haven't ceded dominance because they're self-destructed in some global extension of the Vietnam War. Rather, they've lost power because the comforts of advanced society reduced them to passivity. They'd used apes as servants, but the servants came to despise their master's feebleness and decided to supplant them. There may be a subtle allusion to Marxism here, a meditation on the connection between privilege and parasitism. The novel ends less spectacularly than the film, but only in the imagery it deploys. The message it presents is the same. Nowadays, it's universally known that Solaris, Blade Runner, and The Martian were originally outstanding novels. We need to create a similar space for Planet of the Apes.